Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, and Becky's Dobbs is here, all that hurting.
Oh, beautiful. Welcome, welcome. I see you guys. You're there. You go, Evie. How you doing? Becky, good to see you. Good to see you guys. You guys are. If you want to, you've got your. You're on mute, Becky.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
It's been a long time.
Wow, yeah, it has been a bit here, hasn't it? I'm just gonna turn up my. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Chris, Patrick just emailed and he said the fire alarms are going off at his school, so he is going to be joining in around whenever they turn off the fire alarms.
Yeah. Gotcha.
10
Oh,
minutes or so.
Oh, so how you guys doing? Everything going well?
yes, it's been busy.
Evie, you have been, busier than the proverbial cat covering doo-doo on a hot tin roof, so
Yes, it's been crazy.
yeah, that's awesome. Becky, how's the team doing? You doing well?
Good. They're doing good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, listen, we're right at 10, so Patrick said he's going to be a few minutes late, etc. But as you guys got the email and you watched the onboarding.
I did not get to watch the onboarding
I didn't
just because I've
either.
been everywhere, but now I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this class. And I wanted to sit back and just see how everything's going. So
Okay.
I
Well,
wanted to make sure.
let me kind of walk you through a little bit of what we talked about in there. That these are they're more of a community based mentor mentee conversation. So it's more about you come to the, like we always say, that it's like be on time, be there, etc. If you can't, then let us know. Patrick let us know that he was going to be a few minutes late because they've got fire alarms going off at their school and he's trying to get that all organized. But the other thing was is just about come prepared with things that are going on, problems that you have, situations that you want to talk about, and then the part about it is it's not just Chris and I, that Chris and I will be solving, but everybody can get involved. Everybody, like in other words,
Okay.
Becky says I've got a problem, and maybe you can say, well, yeah, well, here's what's worked for me. So this is really about
Okay.
a group of higher end people that have been through um, either GPS or teach and lead, and they've been through that before, and now they put it to use, and they need somebody to back up and just say, "Hey, listen, I have a situation, and I need help." Okay,
Okay.
as long as that's our area of expertise. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, is there anything that's coming to your brain right now that you want to talk about? That the problems, situations, issues, etc.
Mm, class wise, you can go.
Ooh.
I thought you were going to talk. I was like, oh,
Oh, I I guess I think I'll be able to see next week when if they've accomplished what I set them for, which I'm like, um, I don't want to sit and bug them, you know. So I've got them on both parties. I mean, I'm starting from scratch and I'm like, you've got 5 minutes for each, and that's it. So I'm looking to see because what I'll do is just break up a haircut and tell them on the nape, on the back, on
Got
this,
it. Yeah.
and see if, because I think they're like, well, we do parties,
Yeah.
it's not, you know, I'm like, this is what you need to know. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, so I don't want to during the week be going, did you do it? Did you do it? I'm just gonna,
Yeah. So it sounds to me like it's a little bit of a what's the proper word I'm looking for? Like an accountability, a self accountability situation. Let me just bring. I want to bring this up, and this might interest you too, Becky. That the I'm just going to bring this up. What I call it is in a classroom, and like, have you ever had that happen where you're in a class, you're teaching whatever it is, and you know it's really hot stuff. You're on a roll, and you know that people are going, yeah, 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 and yet you can meet with them 2 months, 2 years from now, and you ask them if they ever did anything about it, and they said no. No, I walked away, didn't do anything with what I learned. Does that make sense? So let me just bring this up here. I'm going to go to memo. Here it is.
I guess too, everything I teach could be off of those partings. So if they're not grounded in that, then maybe they'll see the importance of that, I guess.
Well, yeah, I think some. You know what it is that yours is more short term. It's like they're getting them to the accountability right now, right? Because you gave it to them yesterday or last week, and you want it done for this week. Here's something that I created, and I'm showing you. This is my initial. Let me just go back. I might have a better one here of this.
So Becky, are you at a school?
No, I'm at a salon.
Okay.
And we have associates and apprentices. So we have both.
Okay.
So, but they're not taught any of those partings in the school. They're not taught. I'm trying to teach them how to break down a haircut. That's what I'm going to. And I mean, I can't, to me, my partings are set in stone. I know how to, explain something or ask them. But if they don't have that, then I don't know how to, they're kind of all over.
You're stuck back in. You're right back to square one. That's what it is. You know what I would do is, in that kind of situation, like let's say you're just teaching them horizontal partings, and you're teaching horizontal finger angle. If you try to go into here's horizontal, here's vertical, and here's diagonal, they can get really confused.
Okay.
So if you said, okay, I'm going to teach you horizontal sectioning. So everything that you do should be horizontal.
Okay.
You with me?
Okay.
So, we're going to I'm working on the side section. I'm taking a horizontal parting. Okay. Now we're going to elevate the hair horizontally in relation to the room. If you look from the top, you can see that my finger angle is horizontal. If you look at it from the side, you can see that my finger position is parallel to the parting that I've got. You see, so everything you're teaching is horizontal. And then say to them, I want you to do this whole side section with horizontal finger angle or horizontal partings, horizontal elevation, and horizontal finger positioning with a horizontal finger angle. That makes sense? So everything you're doing, when you're teaching somebody something they don't know, then they can go through, and now every time they do that on the side section, you see it? On both sides. And now we're going to do it in the back, horizontal sectioning. So they can see the results they get, and they embed in their brain everything that has to do with horizontal.
Okay.
That makes sense?
That does.
And then the next time you can do, okay, we're going to go back in, and we're going to go in, same haircut. Everything that we're going to be doing is vertical sectioning. And it's going to have a vertical finger angle. And it's going to have a vertical finger position that relates to the parting. Our finger position is going to be the same thing. You see it? And then they do a vertical finger angle. So everything relates to vertical. And then they see the difference between the horizontal and the vertical, because we know that vertical collapses and horizontals build weight. So, it could even work. And I would throw this to a question with you, Evie. Would that work for foiling as well?
Yeah.
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 See? Okay.
Well,
And so I think that way you can really get them to understand how horizontal, even if you go to the top, they might be looking at the side, And you'll say, I'm taking a horizontal section, but they're looking at it from the side. So they say, that looks vertical to me. And you can say, well, no, because now you stand in the front, look down on it, and you'll see it's a horizontal parting. And now my finger angle is going to be horizontal, and my finger angle, my position of my fingers has to match the parting, because if I shift my finger position, it's going to throw off my over direction. Do you see it? So there's all sorts of learning lessons in there, but the biggest thing is, number one is give them one thing at a time when they're learning, especially if it's new. Don't overcrowd them.
Right.
And number two, congratulate the hell out of them when they get something right.
Okay.
Even
Okay.
if they get it wrong, then you say, I want to congratulate you. You were doing amazing when you did the first one. Now I want to just give you a little coaching, because the same thing that you're doing happened to me as well. You see it? That eases their conscience because you're showing vulnerability. And then you say, what I used to do is when I was taking my horizontal section, and I took my horizontal finger angle looking from the top, but what would happen is I'd shift my hip, and what happened is the way I'm holding the hair, even though it's horizontal from the top, it elevated one side higher and the other side lower, and that created inconsistency. So again, and you say, look, I had the same thing happen to me. Don't worry about it. Here's what I want to work you on. It's always about celebrating them. As a leader, the more that you allow them autonomy to get something wrong, you see it? And if you let them get something wrong, say, okay, good. Here's what I like that you did. You did this well. And now I want you to see, here's something I noticed. It's happened to me in the past, so don't fret about it. But I want to talk to you about how to correct it. And then as soon as they correct it, again, celebrate the hell out of them. You know, I don't mean that we're puppy dogs or pets, but you know, when you're training a pet, you will always get a better result out of them by finding out what they did right and then giving them a treat and a reward, you know? It's the same way.
Okay.
My wife does that to me all the time when I do the dishes.
Can I want to be right to say, even though they do the horizontal party in the 5 sections, I can teach them diagonal, parallel on each of a section if they wanted to. I can do that.
Here's what I would do. Remember, let's go back to the very beginning. When somebody is learning something new, is it easier to learn one thing really well, or 3 things that are really that I could get confused on, right?
Well, yeah, I'm just saying I'm breaking it down to just horizontal right now.
Yep.
But when we go to vertical, I can still work off the horizontal party. Okay.
If you're doing a horizontal parting, you know, you're probably not going to go vertical in your section. You're still going to have horizontal partings. But what I would do is everything that you're teaching horizontal, do with horizontals. Then tomorrow, that's what we did today. I want you to think about it tonight. You come in tomorrow and you say, tell me what ruminated with you? What hit you last night? Or if it's 2 days later, did you practice it? And what happened when you did it? Did you find yourself going, what happened? Okay. And then you get to talk about it more. And you say, great.
Okay.
Now, today, we're going to take all of what we learned out of that, and we're just going to set that aside for a second. And today we're going to talk about vertical. And then you do everything vertical. Ruminate over at night again. It sits in. And now next day you review what you did in horizontal. You review what you did in vertical. And then you say, okay, good. Now today we're going to do diagonal sectioning.
Okay.
You see it? The sections are diagonal. My finger position is diagonal. We're going to use either a diagonal in or a diagonal out finger angle. You see it?
Okay.
And then when you do it the next day, remember, this is where chunking comes in. When you review on the next day, you review all 3. What happened with horizontal? What happened with diagonal? What happened with when we did a vertical? You see it?
Okay.
Then you can go back and you can say, okay, now now they've got the whole picture because you've only did it one piece at a time. Does that make
Right.
sense? Hey, Patrick,
Yeah.
are all the fire bells are off and everything? Okay. I see that stress in your brain right now.
Yeah, got it. Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Okay. So let me, I'm just going to show you where is it gone here? This is not, this is the thing that I put together, and what I did with these, I'm going to share this with you. I do this is what I use at the end of a class. When we do all sorts of things, pair up with a buddy, contact that buddy, get them as an accountability partner. So this is what I do as accountability partners. Now, Becky, you could do this with your two apprentices or your two associates that are just starting out. Patrick and Evie, you can do this on the road. Patrick, you might have seen me use this before. I pass these out. I get them printed up. I have my logo on the back. I print them up on hard stock paper, and I get 4 out of 1 printing, and I cut them up, put my logos on the back, and then they always got me as a reminder for this. Again, this is your branding. So Patrick, you would do your branding on it. Evie, you would do yours. You would do your school logo on there. Becky, here's what I do with them. This is, I'm gonna just I'm gonna put this just like this. No, that's not getting any bigger. There. So just so you can see, I've made a square piece of paper on here.
Mm-hmm.
I have, if you can see in the background, I kind of have a watermark of my logo in there. And then I do this. I've got at the top one, it says name on and if you got, I'll put it down if you want to take a picture of it, then you can. It says, what's my takeaway? What's my call to action? And I've got a couple lines in that. And then I've got date and the accountability partner. So I'm going to tell you some of the things that I've learned in doing this the right way and the wrong way when I handled these out. So the first thing that I do is say, write your name under where the name is. So, excuse me. And if it was you, Becky, then you would write your name, Becky. And probably what I would do is say, here's, if you don't know each other's phone number, or if you don't know their phone number or their Instagram or whatever, then I would get them to write that in as well. And then I'd say, what's my takeaway? And by this, what I mean is, what's the takeaway? What's the one most important thing that I learned out of this class that I want to put into effect? Okay? So what's my takeaway? And then what's my call to action? So my takeaway was that I want to incorporate when I'm doing a lesson, I only want to incorporate one thing, one line in a multitude of different ways. And then I would say, what's my call to action? Well, my call to action is in tomorrow's class, in next week's class, in the next class that I do, that I'm going to incorporate one thing at a time, and I write that in. And it might be incorporate one thing at a time, and the other thing might be that I want to make sure that I'm doing one line, one angle, in a multitude of different ways. Okay. And then I would say, okay, here's the date that I want follow-up. So everything from down here down is when your accountability partner is getting back to you. And Becky, that's not you. That's somebody else in their class. So if you had if you've got 2 associates you're working with, then well, let me tell you what I've done right and what I've done wrong in this. The first time that I did it, I did it this way. I said, write down the date that they have to contact you on. And then what I said to everyone, I was doing this at a class in Manhattan, and I did it with there was about 25 people in the class, packed into about an 800 square foot salon at tables. And I said, everybody, take your card, everybody stand up. Now you point at somebody and give them the card that you're my accountability partner. So here's what happened is sometimes one person had 5 or 6 accountability people and some people had none. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I say, okay, everybody, okay, now find a partner, buddy up with somebody. It could be the person beside you, or find somebody across the room. Just find a partner. And then I say, okay, good. Now, if you don't know them, introduce yourself to them, get their name, etc. And then I want you to write their name in your accountability partner. Okay?
Okay.
Because your name is at the top. So when you just pair up, then they can just swap. And then that person, let's say I'm doing a class tomorrow, and Patrick's my accountability partner, and I said I want to use in my next class, which is my next class is October the 1st, and I want to employ and utilize this memory memo in my classes. So my date is on October 2nd or 3rd. I want Patrick to call me to make sure, number one, did I do it? Number two, what did I learn from it? What worked, what didn't work? That make sense?
Uh-huh.
So this way
Mm-hmm.
you have an accountability partner that is not the owner, that is not the educator, but it's people in the room that are holding everybody accountable.
Okay.
That make sense?
That makes good sense.
Here, let me just reduce this down.
Thank you.
There, if you want to take a
Because
picture
I have
of
a
that.
tendency to be yeah.
Yeah, so you don't want to be the one that they're accountable to, because they'll hold each other accountable and they'll know what if they did or didn't before you contact them, right? So it's
Okay.
not putting you want to take as much pressure off of you and more onto the associates than you did.
Okay.
So it's the same with Patrick or for Evie, when you're doing your classes, what you want to do is you want them to be accountable to other. You don't want to have 300 people contacting you telling what you did or didn't do. What you can also do is you can say, okay, if you're on the flip side, you'll see there's my Instagram handle in there. What I want you to do is when your accountability partner when they contact you and you're celebrating, what I want you to do is in your celebration include me in on it, so that you can so that I can celebrate with you. So all I have to do is give you a heart and say good job. But now I've got more people following me if they're not following me. That makes sense?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Highlight
Good.
anything you don't
Okay.
understand.
What takeaways from that so far? Is there questions on that? Firstly, things that if I didn't explain it clear enough.
No, you did. You did. I think it's well, too, for me, it's more a celebration, not trying to be a bulldog.
Yeah.
And the accountability of having each other, and it's not on me,
Yeah. Yeah.
which
Okay.
will keep me a little lighter hearted.
Yeah. Well,
Does
and
that
then
make sense?
it doesn't make you the heavy, right?
Yeah.
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 Now I want to be clear that there's a difference. See, this is a coaching method, right?
Uh-huh.
There's a difference between a coaching method and if it's your business between a manager. That makes sense? If you're managing somebody and neither the accountability partner nor the person that is being held accountable, if they're not doing it, that's where management takes in. And what I say, when people get too caught up in meetings in little stuff.
Yeah.
So what I suggest to people is, rather than pulling somebody in, let me ask you this question. If somebody that is a superior, your boss, or said, hey, can we have a meeting? What's the first thing that comes to your brain?
Oh, what'd I do?
Yeah, what I do, exactly. So if you can say to them, while they're having a cup of coffee, so it's Barbara that is is your educator, was your accountability partner, and then you said, hey, Barbara, how to go with your accountability partner? Oh, I didn't contact her. You see it? Now that's where management takes over from coaching. And that's when you say, oh, okay, good. Listen, firstly, thank you for taking on and being available for that. But the reality is, don't you think you should be contacting her? What would happen if you did that and somebody didn't contact you? And you might even say to them, did your accountability partner contact you? Oh, yes, they did. How was that? Okay, that was really good. I had a good chat. It was really quick, but I liked the fact that not only did I get somebody held me accountable, but they also praised me at the end of it. I felt really good. Okay, good. Well, how do you
Okay.
think the person that you were supposed to be holding accountable, how do you think they feel now if you didn't contact them? You see it?
Uh,
So
yep.
there's a big difference between coaching. Well, not a big difference because coaching and managing is really doing. Sometimes managing, you're doing the same thing at the same time. But sometimes as managers, that's when you have to call people on their stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I got it. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Patrick, how's it going with you, bud?
Living the dream, Chris.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was at. Did you get a chance to see the onboarding? You did. Okay. Good. Thank
Yes,
you.
I watched it. Yes.
Yeah. So was there anything that came to your mind? Any issues that are coming up? Things that you said, I'm on here and this is what I need help with?
Well, um, right now I am working.
Are you reading it?
I'm to ask to create a 2-day program that helps stylists kind of identify and elevate their taste level is the
Mm.
direction that I was given.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been spending a lot of time trying to figure out like what's the most appropriate way to do that. Because I don't want it to come across like we're saying you don't have good
Right.
taste
Yeah.
already. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
like your taste is bad, but um, the idea is kind of that like, we spend a lot of time helping stylists like learn better, but we need to create programs that translate that into the earn better part of our, you
Mm-hmm.
know, thing. And so this program will be, kind of really driven to help them like make more money behind the chair by kind of elevating what they're doing. And so, yeah, that's what I've been working on out, in my spare time for the last couple months.
Love it. I love it. Now, is it okay if I just ask you a couple questions while this is going on?
Of course.
Where do you think? And I'm gonna just we'll have a conversation about it. And if you want to incorporate any of this in there, great. If it's all El Toro Caca, then leave it out.
Sure.
But here's the first thing that I learned on when it comes to taste, and I'm going to put it in a question form. Where do you think people get their taste from?
Well, I think what their environment is, like what they're used to, what's
Hmm.
around them, what's happening in the salon next to that, you know what I mean? Things like that. Maybe
Yep.
what they see online, who they choose to follow, even stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah. Where else? And this is open discussion here, Evie, Becky. Where anything else? First of all, we thank you. That was great. They do get it from their environment, the people they hang around with. If it's in your salon, if everybody is doing asymmetrical bobs, and I mean on intentional looking good, then everybody all of a sudden an asymmetrical bob is in your wheelhouse. You go, cool. If everybody does nothing but length and layers and they put corkscrew curls in it and do Instagram shots from the back, that's their taste. And so anything else? What else do you think drives taste?
Well, in some ways, I also think just what their own limitations would be. You know what I mean? Like what
Yeah.
they believe that they are
Mm-hmm.
capable of creating or not creating, like, oh
Mm-hmm.
no,
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of
Yeah.
stylist. This is what I do.
Yeah. And that can be, where do you think some of that comes from? There's a model we talk about all the time. Where do you think that comes from? Do you remember it?
Um,
Would it be fear?
Sheer? When you
Fear.
say, oh, fear, yeah, can come, it definitely comes from fear. But do you remember, like we always talk in models, this
yeah.
model helped you produce this. There's a particular model out there. I'll just cut to the chase. That's your results
So,
model, remember?
yeah.
And your results are always results come from your
Thoughts. Is
well,
that
from
the,
your thoughts and your mindset, right? And your
yeah.
mindset creates your belief, and your
Right.
belief it makes your self concept, and your self concept is made up of your self esteem. Do I have the confidence? Do I like myself? and do I my aspirations that I have? Who's the people that I hang around with? So if any of those don't meet, if your self-concept that you have doesn't match your mindset or your belief system, you'll never get the results you want. And if that is a shift in taste, you're never going to get a shift in taste. So, and I'm just for lack of, I'm gonna bring this up because you guys have seen me do this. I don't want to run you through it, but I think that if you just relive the model, you can see where this is at. Okay, here. Okay, here, this is it here in a nutshell. Okay, you see it. So results is if you want results, you have to. That's about your behavior, right? Then it comes from, and then from that, it's about mindset, which is your attitude towards it. And then this is what we just talked about before: your self-image, your self-esteem, and your self-ideal. Correct? Now, the point behind this is that in order to get you to change your mindset, because people's mindset, if you can tell them to do something, you can talk about their taste, and here's what a taste is, and they're going to say, well, Patrick, you're probably right, but the environment that I'm in right now, that's everything that we do, and so while I agree with what you're saying, I'm probably not going to do anything about it. And then, and again, this is going to be some of the belief system, Becky, that you're going to have to get over when it talks about whether it's color or things that they've learned in the past with angles or things that they don't know. Until you get a better result at what you're doing, that's the hardest part. So you can also say, well, it's a fact. I understand it's a fact. If the taste level that I have right now, I'm only going to be working with these number of people, but I'm never probably going to be working in an A salon that has a really high taste level or that much of a different taste level. The only way you can do it is by getting actionable with this. And what that means is that, we all know that the results that you get, we can talk about results in this. And we even say in there that if your results right now, if your self-esteem doesn't match, if it's not there, you're never going to get the result that you want, right? So what you've got to do is you've got to coach on one of these down in here. You've got to either coach on, is it their image? Is it their esteem? Or is it their ideal, the people that they're hanging around with? Just making sense so far, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So if it comes to taste, only, if you can say to somebody, Patrick, okay, good, we're going to talk about taste level, and everybody's got a right to their own taste. And we know taste comes from the people that you hang around with. It comes from your environment, the salon that you're in. And it's going to come from what you believed in before.
That works.
That worked.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not going to, if you'll say to them, okay, here's what you need to change. I'm going to give you a simple example first. You're doing a root retouch, and you see that they're not doing it well, but they can bang out a root retouch literally in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you say to them, okay, well, look, great, you're doing a good job, but here's some problems that I see. Now, and here's the habit that I think that you need to break. And so the belief that you have is based on the habits that you have in the past, right? It's working for me, it's doing a really good job. So we say, you need to change your habit, right? Kind of goes like this. I have a result that I want. I know many of you have seen this before. Chris and I talk about this all the time, but I think it bears mentioning here. There's a result that I have. I have a habit that I have, This is the habit of whether it's in a balayage and doing a balayage, whether it's doing a straight line in a haircut, whether it's my taste that I have. But the idea is we also have this belief system that we have, that this is what keeps us safe. The fact that we have a habit, right?
Yeah.
And the habit that we have gives us the result that we want. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The habits, and it might not be the perfect one, but we get by with it. We're making money with it. It's doing good for us. I've got a job. I'm providing for my family, right?
Right.
But then we said you've got to change your habit, right? So what happens the first time that they get they try that change?
They're going to go back and forth.
Well, yeah. Well, is the result, is it better or is it worse?
Usually worse. I
It's
mean,
usually
maybe.
worse. If it's better, you want them over right away. But
Right.
if it's worse and they're saying I'm not getting a good result, then their belief system goes, well, what you told me is el toro caca. I got better results before, right? So the chance of them changing is minimal. So, but if they see finally, if you can say you need to check with it, we've got to change the habit, right? So, for in your case, Patrick, in their mind, if you talk to them about taste, what's their belief when it comes to their taste? Is their taste good or is it bad? I mean, I realize
Well,
bad is a harsh word, but
sure. I mean, my assumption is most of them would think that it's great,
yeah,
right?
I'm fine. There's nothing
That
wrong with
yeah,
me. I'm good.
yeah,
You're off, right?
right, yeah.
It's not until see that is going to stay there until you can convince them when they do change that the result is better than it was before. Not until you won't change until your taste, your cutting, your coloring, how you are with your family, how you drive, until your results are better, then your belief goes, OMG, I didn't realize how much better I can be by doing this. Now what happens? You see it now, I'm willing to change my habits. You see it? And that's what, is this making sense?
Yeah.
Very much.
So I think that's kind of the wrestle that you're going to have in there, Patrick, is that until you can provide and say to them, look, here's some of the things that with our company, and I'm just spitballing with you right now, but until you can show them or hang around with people that you can, until they can see the difference that the taste gets in their career, in their clients, and in themselves, that it's a hard task, right? But it's
So
not
then,
it's not
go ahead.
undoable.
So then, in a 2-day program, there has to be some like tangible, hands-on activity that shows
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. I remember when I don't know if you guys remember when it was Chris Sorby and I that were hanging out all together and we would all the things together. One of the first things that she asked me when we first teamed up is she said, Chris, what magazines do you read? And I thought that was kind of a silly question. I went, well, I read hairdressing magazines. That's everything that I do. She said, who's your inspiration? So I told them, and I wasn't saying Trevor Sorby, even though he was her ex-husband, has always been it was Trevor Sorby, it was Anthony Muscolo, it was Robert Labetta, and so on and so on and so on. Okay? Those are the people that I took my inspiration from, and they helped to guide my taste. And he said, do you know what magazine Trevor reads? And I said, well, I don't know him. So I taken a wild stab that you do. He said, yeah, he reads all fashion magazines. He reads Italian Vogue, etc. So you know, that's, yes, he reads and looks at all the hair magazines, but he says if you want to look at hair magazines, you'll get a taste from their hair magazines, but if you want to incorporate it with fashion, you'll need to look at fashion magazines. So that might be something that you want to do with him, Patrick, is to say, what magazines do you look at? Like what magazines do you look at? Where do you go for inspiration? Where do you go to look at stuff? I'll bet you that some people will say, don't read any. You know,
Right.
Or it's
you're
on
not going to get much
Instagram.
inspiration from a
Instagram,
murder
yeah.
mystery.
Mm-hmm.
But where are you getting your inspiration from? What inspires you? What makes you want to change? You might want to ask them, when was the last time you changed what you look? What do you think's coming in next? What do you think if we're at this stage now and we're doing XYZ, what do you think's coming in next? What are you preparing yourself for? What do you think is a good look? When you see somebody do something different and new, what's your reaction? And you can always go to, how many of you wear, and I can't believe I didn't put my rings on, but I have a skull ring on. You know, I always talk about the example when Alexander McQueen at Fashion Week introduced skulls onto all of his clothing, people were in an uproar. They thought it was ugly. Everybody will find that something is ugly when it first comes in, until most people won't. The people that are changers, the ones that are on the cusp, the ones that are always looking for something new, are always looking for something that's fresh and new. They don't see it as ugly, they see it as new. The people that are in the middle, that are afraid of change, they'll always be hanging back, waiting till everybody's wearing it. Then they're willing to change because they've seen it enough time that their mind will it's accustomed to it. I mean, everybody, including your granny, has skulls on her knickers, you know, so it's not seen as devil worshiping anymore. But, you know, that's what might help in there, Patrick, is just to say, where do you get your magazines from? Maybe have magazines there and then pull out things that what do you find inspirational? I don't know, and maybe you'll have to have something, here's some of the things that we find inspirational. Here's where we draw some of the things from. Here's what we look at that we find is a degree and a varied degree of taste. You might have, okay, some of you like a bob, but it's a French bob at the cheek. You know, some of you like a bob and it's got a real short fringe at the jawline or at the cheekbone. You see it?
Which all of that kind of it sets you up for the second date.
Yeah. And then, you know, pick something that challenges you, or even to ask them, Mr. Moody. Hey, how are you doing, Mr.
Hello.
Moody?
You all right?
Yeah. Hey, listen, just to give you a brief on here. First of all, we've had a good day. Thank you guys for joining. It was a great time. We'll see you guys on the next schedule.
Hey, listen, I was just listening to your magazine thing and that, you know, which is really good. I was having a conversation with. I'm sorry, I apologize for being late. I've been on another event it's called a Global Métier. So it's a big sort of event. It's run by L'Oreal, actually, for all of their marketing people all over the place. And we were having I was having a conversation just last week, actually, with some educators, and it was about inspiration. And we were putting together a haircutting class, helping them put together a haircut class. There were 4 of them, and they had to put this haircutting class together. And it was a bit difficult, really, because they were wanting to put together like this creative haircutting class, and they were talking about, you know, how do you go above the shoulders and how do you do that? And I found it a bit odd because there were 4 educators, there was a couple of assistants, there was somebody in marketing and that from the company. Every single one of them had got really, really long hair, including the teachers. Nobody had like short hair. And we were talking about magazines and inspiration, but the thing is, not wishing to sound big-headed or anything, Patrick, but it's no good asking them to go look at magazines now for inspiration, because what will they find?
Yeah.
they're just going to find long beachy hair. So what I did is I told them about, and Crystal knows some of the magazines that we used to use. Like Chris Sorby asked him, what magazines do you read, and he said, I read hair magazines. So I used to read a really cool magazine called The Face. It's not in print anymore now, but you can still buy back issues of The Face. It started like in the late 70s, 78, something like that, went up until the early 90s. It covered that whole kind of like punk revolution. It was really an underground magazine. It was photographed and put together by freelancers. There was very few models in it. There was mainly just people, street people. There's another magazine that just recently went out of print called ID magazine. That's really cool. You can get that as well. And there's a really like exceptionally cool Italian magazine called Collezione. Unfortunately, they're all out of print, but I was just doing some research. So there's a website called magazinecanteen.com. And they do back issue, magazinecanteen.com. And they do I've just found they do loads of back issues of ID magazine. But I have to tell you, some of them are a little expensive because they've become real kind of collector's items, some of them. The other one is, there's another one called crazyaboutmagazines.com. And they've got back issues of all kinds of different magazines and what have you, Face magazine and stuff like that as well. And then
again, Chris,
crazyaboutmagazines.com. But and so if you just go to if you go to buy all copies of Face magazine, it comes up on Google pretty quick and what have you. You can get them on eBay and places like that as well. But there might be, if you search some of those things, there'll be loads of online archives where you don't have to buy the physical copy. Loads of online archives, but you'll see your students will see stuff from before they were born. Because if they're under 30, if they were born after 1995, all they've ever seen is GHDs and beach waves.
Yeah.
I remember doing Hair World in Paris in 1994, something like that. I think I was, and I was doing this girl's hair, trying to blow dry it, this Parisian girl, and somebody handed me a pair of GHDs that I'd never seen. They said, "Here, try these. I've just been playing with them, and they're really good." And I picked them up, and I'd never seen them before. Really early, mid-90s, they did an amazing job on this French girl's hair, and I thought they were best things since sliced bread. Had I known then what I know now, I would have smashed them to pieces with a big hammer and thrown them in the bin. But because they were the death of haircutting, really. But yeah, try those magazines and those things. ID, Face, Collezione. Once you start going down that rabbit hole of independent magazines, you'll see loads of cool stuff pre-90s, because that's where your inspiration lives, not like post-2000s.
So then if he teaches this class, he has these magazines, is he going to share those magazines with the students and let them pick out what they like?
Yes.
Evie, let me back it up a second, just to fill Chris in on the top line of what we were doing, is that Patrick's been selected. He's supposed to put together a 2-day class that helps to change the taste of some of the educators that are out there now. And so what he's saying is, how do I put this together? What do I do in it? How do I get, so it's I think it's as much about the taste that they have now when they do whatever that is, their bob, their waves, their looking, like what looks good on somebody in the manufacturer's eyes, so that they can advance or move forward. So they're trying to increase the taste level as much as I suppose the inspiration. So we're trying to give them a heads up on, and we were talking about how do you find out where they get it from, because we know from the results model, it's either going to be the people they hang around with, the magazines they read, it's going to be what their own belief system is, what they can and can't do, and some of it might be if it's technique, then it needs training. If it's that, it's about your eye, because we always say it's about hands. If you look up somebody you really love, that you admire, that has a similar taste or taste you aspire to have, it's always, you talk about their hands, how they do it, and you talk about their eye they have. Somebody said that at the shoot that they did Redken just did at the rack. I can't remember who was jumping in, but they said that when they said it was their cut, but Matt, because he had worked with Richard so many times, he said, it's okay, just let Matt just jump in. And Matt would just go in and go like this and touch one hair. And they said, perfect. It was like amazing because he got that eye. You see it? And I think that's what you may want to talk about is that eye and developing their eye for what is tasteful and what is not tasteful.
Yeah. And also as well, Chris, in support of that, I think it's about exposition as well and kind of exposing people. So, you know, if you've drunk bad coffee all your life and you kind of get some really nice gourmet coffee, you might not like it because your palate has been adjusted to the bad coffee. So it's about pointing out almost not telling people what to do, but pointing out the things that perhaps they can't see. So they taste that coffee and, you know, can you taste, is there walnuts? Can you taste some kind of walnut? Is it smooth or rough? It's kind of, so you know, Chris and I often use those funneling questions to go down to the 10 of hearts or the queen of hearts and what have you. What is it that you're trying to get them to? And so do you see balance? Do you see composition? What does that look like? And it, like Chris said, it's about refining their taste buds, but on a visual level, really. So I can recognize something that looks nice. Does that make sense? Yeah.
I would have done the same example, except it would have been about wine.
Same thing. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Good.
One of the things that we were told once is like when you think about how people get their inspiration, and we were told that you're not looking at it long enough.
Yeah, that's a good.
You need to look at it longer, and you'll pick out more than if you look at it and go, no, I don't like that. Okay.
Yeah.
And it kind of helps. It's like, you got to look at it longer, you know?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just that's what we used to say is just like, if you're looking at something and you don't like it, don't turn the page.
Yeah.
Don't turn the page.
Maybe pull something good out.
Yeah. Well, if it made it into a magazine, it didn't make it in there because it was crap.
Yeah.
What is it that you need to change? What are you afraid of in there? What challenge you with it?
Yeah.
You know, and that's where you can drain it down to. Is it what needs to change? Is it my technique or is it my attitude? Is it my cutting skill? What needs to change?
Yeah. And I think it is kind of an acquisition situation as well. So you have to sort of acquire this because I also think I'll call BS on it actually because, you know, we're a more informal group, but when most people are looking for inspiration, they're looking for something to copy.
Yeah.
They're not, you know, I'm looking for inspiration. Oh, I like that, but I'll just do mine a bit longer or a bit less red or a bit less this. And it's not really like an inspiration. To inspire is to bring something to life, to move somebody forward in something. So, you know, and I think sort of, I'm really lucky because what got me into hairdressing in the early 80s was my brother who was living and working at Sassoon's in London in the late 70s, early 80s when things were just exploding, and all they were doing were just wandering around looking at the first punks and the street kids who cut their hair with razor blades and just thinking, right, how do I turn that into a structured haircut? Wasn't copying it, that genuinely was inspiration. But yeah, to Chris's point, I think it's about, I personally think, Patrick, it's about going back in time and saying, look, you know, it's long hair and big lips and really slim waists and six packs that are inspiring you now. But Sophia Loren and Marilyn Monroe and Marie Antoinette and the Botticelli ladies, you know, it was something else that inspired them, if you know what I mean. So I think it's...
Sure. Yeah, and Patrick, this might be good. Did they, when they gave you the request for proposal per se, did they say anything beyond taste? Like, what did they say? Did they say it's because they're doing long hair, or is it because they're not doing short hair, or is it just the work that they're doing is not tasteful?
It was more just kind of trying to like I said, which is to me honestly why I think some of this is a little disjointed, is that like to translate into helping them earn more money behind the chair, right? So like, how do we, anyone can put 6N on someone's head.
Got
What
it.
are you doing that like elevates, you, right? And so part of that is helping them develop a higher taste level that translates into more expensive services, more elevated
Got it.
services, whatever
Got it.
whatever it may be.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and first of all, I should have asked that question at the very beginning, because so I'm taking it from that. Your audience is not educators that you're doing, educators that have a better taste. It's consumers that are coming to a class. Is that correct?
Well, both. The goal is for me to first run through this with like country education managers,
Yeah.
and then to stylists there.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah. It's been a challenge.
Yeah. Well, and I think but that's the good part, because that challenge makes you grow. It makes you think, and just like you're doing here is, I've always found, and I'm just going to put myself out there. I believe Chris is the same way. But I find that I get better ideas from collaborating than I do from trying to keep silo on it. You're only going to come up with your ideas, and somebody's going to say something, maybe one thing in this class, you say, well, I don't like that, but that sparked me that here's a direction I can go in. So they wouldn't have given that to you if they didn't feel that you could come up with something. So, and you can, and we know you can. So,
Thank you.
Yeah. And what I love about what they did, and that's one thing that's sort of my big kick right now is they have to give you autonomy on it. Is if you're going to give somebody a challenge but then micromanage you to death, then that's when, just from a leadership position, if you micromanage everybody, then everybody will only live up to your lowest expectation. But if you give them the highest expectation that you have of them, and then you give it to them and they make a mistake, great. Then you just say, here's what you did well. Here's what didn't work. What would you do differently next time? And then you let them do it again. Unfortunately, so many people say if you don't do it right, then they go to somebody else. But then they have to go through the same thing over and over again. What people need, when you're in that category of you're willing and you're skilled, then you need to challenge the hell out of those people. That's the way that you stay.
Well, this is really helpful because I have about 3 versions already planned out. So this will result in a 4th.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and
know,
that's the good thing. Take what you like from each one of those and put them together.
Yeah.
No one thing that if they wanted us to do it, they would have come to us to do it. And we would have had a version and probably had some of the same things and some different, but they came to you. So make it yours.
Thank you. This is good.
Okay.
Good job.
Wow. I don't know where the hell this hour went. It seems like we just started in here, but
I know.
yeah. Let's just go around the horn. Evie, what's the takeaway that you had for this session? What's the thing that hit you the most?
I think to just go back in time to get inspired. Yeah. That's what I feel. I think that's good. To take a look at everything else differently and hone in on something that you may not like it, but look at it deeper and see what else is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very love it. Love it. Chase it, Evie. Throw it to somebody else.
Becky.
I guess for me, the best thing is just the breakdown of working with them, not giving them too much. And I like the fact of doing like the esteem, the results, the behavior, and almost like taking their mindset and saying, what would you do and what wouldn't you do? Because everything is long hair. And so I'm more or less going after short hair. And because I believe that that's coming. Anybody can do these waves. And it's like, aren't you tired of it? But they're so afraid they and my thing is breaking it down and telling them they can do anything from that horizontal breakdown.
Yeah.
And then, I'm trying to work on how do you break down a haircut? How do you know? Because I think for me, the horizontal breakdown changed everything. I wasn't in there second guessing, like, well, should I do here, do here? I mean, I kind of knew, but that just gave me a structure to do anything.
Love it.
Love
it.
And it's not just me, but it's like having them look at something and almost like, okay, so they want short hair. How would you do it with what you know now? So let's do it. I mean, do it on the mannequin, and I think too, what helps is when I have them, it's like, now switch and do this. Now switch. So it's like they're switching from mannequin to mannequin, and they're not just so focused on their own, I guess. Yeah. No, I just love it. I just need it all the time.
Beautiful. Thank you, Becky. Chase it. Pass it to someone.
Oh, Patrick.
Well, I mean, everything they both just said, but honestly, the piece that I didn't think about where I jumped in was the accountability partner part, Chris, because I think that like we can spend so much time in education, but if there's no setup for what the follow through is going to be, it doesn't really matter what you learned if you're not putting it into practice. So that was good to remind me that needs to be in there too. So thanks for that.
Thank you, Patrick. Okay, Mr. Moody, any wrap up?
Well, I only came in halfway through, but I think if it's about taste, it's about helping people understand the pursuit of taste is about subtlety, really. Yeah. It's small things, small subtle things. So how can you funnel down into what it is that you're hoping people will see, that kind of thing. It's not just about one big thing. It's about subtleties. And to Becky's point, having the patience to think about them and to find them and to see them. And it's almost like a mental reset too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, and then just to kind of wrap it up and put a bow on it, I think Patrick, and just because we're on that last subject on there, is just, maybe if it's, whether it's a consumer or an educator or whatever, who are the people that are aspiring, who are the people that are doing things now, whether it's new colors, new design, new whatever, that are inspiring you, and what's the difference? Like, there's a creative gap between what you wish you could do and what you're doing. That's called the creative gap. So what's the difference between the creative gap, or what's the difference between what you're imagining that you would like to do, the hair you would like to do, and what you're actually doing? And then inside there, that'll give you the latitude to coach them on it, or to say, okay, find out what is a plan that you need to do. What do you need to do with this? And that's all I've got to say about that. Okay, so just as a review, and Mr. Moody wrote down, if you haven't seen in there, he wrote down some of the magazines in there, etc.
Yeah.
Marjorie, maybe if you can find that as quickly as we can. I think is it the next session that we have is when, just so that everybody got that and put them in their books.
Hey, Patrick, make sure you post some updates in that Facebook group. I'd love to see how you get on, and any progress that you've made, or if there's any final versions that you feel happy to share. I promise it'll stay confidential, obviously, within the group, but if you want to share any final versions, do that. Don't wait a whole month. Just
sure.
Yeah.
Yes,
and Margie
absolutely.
just put in next class is October 22nd. And if you haven't seen the onboarding video yet, then just jump on and review it. Just so you commit to it. Okay, everybody good?
Yep.
Okay, everybody, give us a good word. Chris, give us a good word. What's a good word?
Inspirations.
Inspiration. Okay, everybody, count us off. Okay, Evie, count us off.
1, 2, 3.
Inspiration.
Inspiration.
Love it, everybody.
Thank
See you later,
you.
team.
Thanks,
Hey.
everybody.
See you next
Bye-bye.
month.
Bye-bye. Nice to see you, Evie.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
How'd that go? Wow, that was good.